channel. Today I brought important questions from the chapters of Term 2. The chapters are Glimpses of India, The Proposal, that is a play, Madam Rides the Bus, and The Sermon at Benares. So you need to start out right with smart revision. Let's get started. I'll be showing you all the questions first and then we'll read out the answers. So here are the first 7 questions. Quickly, I'm going to read these questions. First one, which 2 issues about himself convinced Lemov to his decision to get married? Then second is, farce is a kind of comedy which includes situations and dialogues that are ridiculous, exaggerated, and even absurd. Evaluate the play The Proposal as a farce. Now this question is also included in the sample paper. All the characters or this question can be asked like this also. All the characters of the play The Proposal present a comical picture that blends perfectly with its theme. Elaborate. Third one, Lemov and Natalia had been neighbors for many years. Why did Lemov think of proposing to Natalia at that particular stage? Next one, how does the author defend that baking was a profitable business in the old days? Next, what supports the Arabic descent of the people of Coorg? Then, sixth one, the country has recognized the valor of the Coorgi people in different ways at different times. Discuss. Seventh, it is often said first impression is the last impression. What do you think was the first impression of Rajveer on Mr. Barua? Now the eighth one, the life of mortals in this world is troubled and brief and combined with pain. How according to Buddha can one overcome this pain? Ninth one, you are Samir of class 10. You have been given a project to present a radio show on the topic Courage Knows No Age. You plan to take an interview of a brave and independent girl or boy who has accomplished something beyond her or his age. You decide to interview Wali for the courage that went into her planning before the actual journey. Present the interview on your understanding of the chapter Madam Rides the Bus. 10th one. Temptations are often hard to resist. Those who overcome them exhibit a strong character. Analyze the given statement on the basis of the chapter Madam Rides the Bus. 11th, the conductor rightly calls Wali Madam. Justify. 12th, Wali is afraid to get down the bus in the town, but she is brave enough to ride the bus to the town alone. Discuss. 13th, justify the title of the play The Proposal. So these are important questions from these 4 chapters for term 2. So now I'll be reading out all the answers so that you can listen and prepare for them. But before that, here are a few videos that you must watch before your exams. This video, it is based on term 2 poems, 3 poems, Amanda, The Tale of Custard the Dragon and Animals. Again, important questions from these 3 poems. So ये वीडियो देखना नहीं भूलना, लिंक जो है वो डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में दिया है. बाकी जो वीडियोस हैं, they are based on these 4 chapters. The Proposal, that is the play, इसकी explanation, theme और self evaluation test, जिसमें 40 questions already दिए गए हैं. Then next, self evaluation test of the chapter Madam Rides the Bus. Again, there are 45 questions. So there are so many questions for your complete preparation. The Sermon at Benares, again, important questions, solved questions with extracts are there. Then Tea from Assam, explanation and question answers. Then Coorg, explanation and question answers, and a baker from Goa. Again, all important questions for your exams. Now, let's get started with these questions. The first one, which 2 issues about himself convinced Lemov of his decision to get married? Now, here you have to take care कि question में पूछा गया है, क्या गया है? 2 issues about Lemov. So, Lemov के issues discuss करने हैं. नटल्या क्यों Lemov को ठीक लगी मैरिज के लिए, हमने वो इसमें नहीं इंक्लूड करना. It is only the issues about himself. So Lemov desperately wanted to get married as he was already 35 years old, which he felt was a critical age. He suffered from palpitations and had a very excitable temperament. Also, he wanted to lead a quiet and regular life with a partner. He knew that he might not get married if he looked for love or someone ideal. Thus, he was convinced that he should get married to Natalia. So, ये उसके अपने कारण से जो हमने पूछे गए 2 issues about himself. Now, in case the question is what convinced Lemov that or why he decided to get married. Then you will write both the sides. So then your answer can be like this. Though Lamov and Natalia, they were neighbors, they had never liked each other. Lamov was already 35 years old and still unmarried. There was no chance for him to find a real love or someone ideal at this stage of life. He now wanted to lead a quiet and regular life with a partner. Also, he suffered from palpitations and had a very excitable temperament. He felt that since Natalia was a good housekeeper, not bad looking, and above all well educated, he would not find a better match than her for himself. Therefore, marrying Natalia was his last chance. So you have to understand the question and then write your answer. Now I move on to the next one. Farce is a kind of comedy which includes situations and dialogues that are ridiculous, exaggerated, and even absurd. Evaluate the play, the proposal as a farce. Or the same question can come like this also. All the characters of the play, the proposal present a comical picture that blends perfectly with its theme. Elaborate. So this question, it is also included in the sample paper. The play The Proposal is replete with characters and situations which make it a true example of a farce. All the characters present a comical picture with no sincerity of thought and action. The situation under which Lamov comes to ask for Natalia's hand and the way Chupkov expresses his happiness at the proposal is hilarious. Rather than treating the proposal as a bond of love, Chupkov treats it as a business deal. For him, economic status and stability is more important than love in a marriage, and as the play progresses, we find it to be true for Natalia as well as Lamov. Natalia, though surprised at Lamov's attire, is not at all attracted towards him. So proposal जो है एक बहुत intimate occasion है, but it is treated like a business deal here. So that is why it is a satire on the mindset of the people of that time who felt that marriages, they should enhance their stability and economic status. So Natalia, though surprised at Lamov's attire, is not at all attracted towards him. While talking, they start fighting over a small piece of land, Oxen Meadows, and hurl abuses at each other. They continue to argue over this piece of land, which they both admit is worth nothing to them. Even Natalia's father, who is supposed to be a wise old man, only worsens the situation. But when Natalia comes to know about Lamov's real intention, she becomes hysterical, as if Lamov was the love of her life. So, लेकिन जब उसको पता चलता है कि Lamov actual में किस purpose के लिए आया था, तो वो एकदम से बदल जाती है. So, she behaves as if she was deeply in love with Lamov. So soon they get into another argument related to the superiority of their dogs. Lamov not giving up in spite of a sensitive heart, Chupkov's melodramatic statements, and Natalia's nasty remarks. All of this expose their pride and hostility for each other. Amidst this hatred and bitterness, the way the proposal is solemnized is a fine display of hypocrisy. So ये सब लड़ाई झगड़ा ये सब हो रहा है और उसके बीच में चुपकॉप जो है वो फटाफट रिंग उठा के पहना देते हैं and he tells Lamov that yes, the proposal it is made. So all this shows their hypocrisy. All this effort to come to a compromise for the sake of monetary gain lays bare the hollowness of the institution of marriage of that time and makes the play a farce. The situation, the characters, the dialogues, and the presentation of the play truly justify the theme of marriage based on vested interests rather than love. The play, which is set in 19th century Russia, is a satire, a farce that lays bare the ethics of so-called aristocrats of the time. So this is, if a question comes, that elaborate it or discuss it as a satire or as a farce, so you can write this answer. Now, the next question. Lamov and Natalia had been neighbors for many years. Why did Lamov think of proposing to Natalia at that particular stage? So this is again almost the same answer as we've done previously, but there'll be a slight change. So Lamov and Natalia, though neighbors, they were not attracted to each other. They rather had bitter feelings for each other. Both Lamov's age and health issues compel him to settle down in life. Lamov was already 35 years old and still unmarried. There was no chance for him to find real love or someone ideal at this stage of life. So ये Lamov की तरफ से जो है वो problems होंगे. कि Lamov जो है, he was not at all attracted to Natalia. उसकी age, 35 years that he felt was a critical age to get married. फिर उसके जो health issues थे, and he also felt कि अब उस age पे he may not find real love. So ये सारी जो चीजें हैं उसे compel करती हैं कि वो नटल्या को choose करे. So also he suffered from palpitations and had a very excitable temperament. He felt that since Natalya was a good housekeeper, not bad looking, and above all well educated, he would not find a better match than her for himself. Therefore, marrying Natalya was his last chance and he didn't want to lose it. Fourth question. How does the author defend that baking was a profitable business in the old days? Now here you have to understand, you have to give an evidence. How does the author defend this? So baking was indeed a profitable business in old days. The baker and his family, including his servants, always looked happy and prosperous. Their plump, jackfruit-like physique was an open testimony to this. So कहाँ से पता लगता है? Evidence क्या है? Evidence, first evidence ये है कि baker की जो family है, even उसके जो servants हैं, वो हमेशा खुश और prosperous लगते थे. और उनकी जो physique थी, plump, jackfruit kind physique, वो भी एक ओपन टेस्टिमनी थी. ओपन एक एविडेंस था कि वो उनका जो परिवार है वो फलता फूलता परिवार है. Now the next one. What supports the Arabic descent of the people of Coorg? So again you have to support it with an evidence. It is said that people of Coorg are descendants of Arabs. The long black coat worn by Kudabus, so Kudabus are the Coorgi people, with an embroidered waist belt known as kufiya, resembles the kufiya worn by the Arabs and Kurd. So ये जो वो पहनते थे, so long black coat, so it is similar to what was worn by Arabs. So यहाँ से ये support करता है this theory about their Arabic descent. Now we move on to question number 6. The country has recognized the valor of the Coorgi people in different ways at different times. Discuss. Coorgi people, they are known for their bravery. They feel proud in narrating the stories and valor related to their sons and fathers. The people of India hold them in high esteem. So because of their bravery, so people of India, they hold Coorgi people in high esteem. The Coorg regiment, it is one of the most decorated Indian army. So Coorg regiment जो है एक ऐसी regiment है जिसने बहुत सारे bravery awards जो है वो जीते हैं. So it is the most decorated in the Indian army. And the first chief of the Indian Army, General Cariappa, was a Coorgi. Even now, Kudabus are the only people in India permitted to carry firearms without a license. So this is a big thing. So they are the only people in India permitted to carry firearms without a license. Now question number 7. It is often said, first impression is the last impression. What do you think was the first impression of Rajveer on Mr. Barua? Rajveer was an intelligent, curious boy. He was visiting tea gardens in Assam with his friend Pranjal, who was Mr. Barua's son. Before visiting, he had gathered information about the history, the legends, and important facts about tea. So, Rajveer जो था intelligent और curious boy था, उसे पता था कि उसने छुट्टियों में टी गार्डन्स विजिट करने हैं प्रांजल के साथ. सो उसने पहले से ही टी गार्डन्स के बारे में जानकारी जो है वो इकट्ठी करनी शुरू कर दी थी. So though visiting a tea garden for the first time, he correctly recognized the second flush or sprouting period of tea and surprised Mr. Barua by informing him that the second flush lasted from May to July and yielded the best tea. So क्योंकि उसने पहले ही जानकारी इकट्ठी की हुई थी, so जब वो वहां पे जाता है, so he is able to recognize that second flush or the sprouting period of the tea, और Mr. Barua को बताता है कि this period it will last from May to July and it yielded the best tea. So ये सुन के obviously Mr. Barua जो है वो बहुत impressed हो जाते हैं. So Mr. Barua was quite impressed to see Rajveer's enthusiasm for learning new things. Thus, Rajveer had a positive first impact on Mr. Barua, who liked him for his eagerness and cheerfulness. So हमें evidence देना है, ये support करने के लिए, ये दिखाने के लिए कि जो first impression है Mr. Barua पे राजवीर का, that was a good one. Yes, now we move on to the 8th one. The life of mortals in this world is troubled and brief and combined with pain. So how, according to Buddha, can one overcome this pain? According to Buddha, death is a reality. No one can escape it. As ripe fruits, no one can prevent their loved ones from the shackles of death. It is painful for the relatives to see their dear ones taken away by death. But no amount of lamenting, weeping, and grieving can bring them back or ease their pain. This will only increase their suffering. Buddha preached that one who seeks peace should not lament and complain. Those who are able to do this achieve peace and composure. So, बुद्धा का कहना है कि रोने से कुछ नहीं हासिल होगा. जिसे जाना था वो जा चुका है और वो वापस नहीं आएगा. So those who learn this fact, so they will only be the ones who will achieve peace and composure. Those who overcome this grief will become free from sorrow and be blessed. So जिन्हें ये कंट्रोल करना आ जाएगा, जो इस रियलिटी को मान जाएंगे, so they will be free from sorrow and they'll be blessed by God. Now question number 9. You are Sameer of class 10th. You have been given a project to present a radio show on the topic Courage Knows No Age. You plan to take an interview of a brave and independent girl or boy who has accomplished something beyond her or his age. You decide to interview Wali for the courage that went into her planning before the actual journey. Present the interview on your understanding of the chapter, Madam Rides the Bus. You may begin like this. So you have been given the beginning dialogue, and first you have to check that what you have to include in the interview. So it says the interview that you have to take, it should be about her planning. It is about her planning before the actual journey. So your interview should be limited to this part only. So Sameer, good morning my lovely friends out there. Welcome to the show Courage Knows No Age. Today I'm going to introduce you to another example of courage, grit, and conviction. Wali, an 8-year-old girl. Yes, my dears, you heard it right. She is just 8 years old. What has she accomplished? Let's listen to her story. So, since it is a radio show, so your dialogues, it should be according to that. So, good morning, my lovely friends out there. Welcome to the show, Courage Knows No Age. Today, I'm going to introduce to you another example of courage, grit, and conviction. Wali, an 8-year-old girl. Yes, my dears, you heard it right. She is just 8 years old. What has she accomplished? Let's listen to her story. So it should be like you are talking to your audience. So this is the beginning dialogue that is already given to you. So now from here you have to continue. So since it's going to be a 5-mark question, 4 or 5-mark question, so your dialogues should be also 4 to 5. Welcome, Wali. So, I have come to know that you undertook a bus ride and that too all alone. Is it true? How did it happen? Wali. Thanks, Amir. Yes, it is true. I used to see the bus with cheerful faces inside it and fancied having a ride in it. But it wasn't so simple. Samir. Why? Did you face any problems? Wali. Yes, there were 3 main problems. I didn't know much about the journey. I mean, the bus fare, the distance, and the time taken by the bus, and so on. The next problem was from where to get the money for the bus fare. The sum of 60 paise was a fortune for me. Lastly, how to sneak out without anyone's knowledge was also a big question. Next, Samir. Oops, that's too much for an 8-year-old. Both of them laugh. So it has to be an interesting dialogue for the radio show. So since you are presenting it, it's a radio show. So it has to be interesting and thrilling to capture the audience. So your dialogues should be like that. Then why? Well, it was. But I was determined to go for it. I saved every coin that came my way and resisted buying my favorite peppermints, toys, sweets, and above all, I could resist riding the merry-go-round in the village fair. I planned the journey based on what I had overheard my neighbors talking about the journey and asked a few questions myself. And for the last problem, I chose the afternoon time when my mother used to take a nap after eating her lunch. Samir, that's very intelligent and brave. So, did it happen the way you had planned? Wali, yes, I planned and replanned. I did not rush into it. And then one fine afternoon, I stopped the bus. Sabir, wow, that's very thrilling. But it's time to end our show. But we'll continue with your story in the next episode. So stay tuned. So, since the question says that planning before the journey, so you have to restrict yourself to that part only, and then you can end so that it should not look an abrupt ending that you will continue in the next episode. So, like this, you can frame your an interesting conversation with Wali. Now, next question. Temptations are often hard to resist. Those who overcome them exhibit a strong character. Analyze the given statement on the basis of the chapter Madam Rides the Bus. Wali is portrayed as a confident and curious girl in the story Madam Rides the Bus. For the lack of enough money, she would have never been able to fulfill her desire to ride the bus. Though a small girl of 8, she was able to resist allurements like peppermints, toys, balloons, etc. to save money for the ride. Thriftily saving every stray coin that came her way, she succeeded in saving a total of 60 paise for the bus ride. The real test of her determination and also the hardest temptation to overcome was to ride the merry-go-round in the village fair. So, even though she had the money, she did not waver and successfully evaded it. Thus, she was a strong-willed girl who wanted to live life on her own terms. So, in this question, you have to bring out Wali's character, but based on this part only, temptations. Temptations are often hard to resist. So, those who overcome, they exhibit a strong character. So, by resisting all these temptations, she presented a strong character, girl, a determined girl just of 8 years. So, you have to provide evidence for that. Now, question number 11. The conductor rightly calls Wali Madam. Justify. Wali, an 8-year-old girl in the story, presents herself as a confident girl who can take care of herself. In a commanding tone, she tells the conductor that she wants to go to town and boldly extends her hand to show the coins she has for the fare. The conductor is amused at her dauntless attitude. He is impressed by the maturity of her talk and fearlessness of traveling alone, that too for the first time. Being a jolly fellow, he calls Wali Madam, a title that appropriately befits her conduct in the bus. So now, here you have to justify. Justify करना है कि अगर कंडक्टर ने वाली को मैडम कहा तो वो बिल्कुल सही कहा. So these are the reasons why when the conductor calls Wali Madam, it is justified. Now question number 12. Wali is afraid to get down the bus in the town, but she is brave enough to ride the bus to the town alone. Discuss. So this is important. बस राइड अकेले करने में उसे कोई घबराहट नहीं हुई, लेकिन टाउन पहुंच के बस से नीचे उतरने के टाइम she was afraid of that. So let's discuss that. Wali was a confident girl of 8. To fulfill her desire to ride the bus from her village to town, she meticulously planned and executed her plan. She had chalked out everything in advance by listening to the conversation of her neighbors and asking questions from the passengers who got down the bus about the bus fare, the distance, and the time taken by the bus to reach the town. So bus ride के लिए उसने पूरी प्लानिंग की थी. उसने जो जो जानकारी इकट्ठी करनी थी, कुछ नेबर्स की कन्वर्सेशन सुन के, कुछ खुद पैसेंजर से क्वेश्चंस पूछ के सारी जानकारी इकट्ठी करके she had already planned her visit, her ride. So उसने वो पूरी प्लानिंग की हुई थी. Contrary to this, she knew nothing about the town, about the happenings or the places there. लेकिन टाउन के बारे में उसे कोई भी जानकारी नहीं थी. So as the bus reached the town, she got scared to see the crowded market. She was overcome by the fear of the unknown. So इसलिए उसे वहां पे डर लगा, because उस चीज के बारे में उसे कुछ नहीं पता था. So it was a fear of unknown. Thus, while traveling in the bus to town, she was confident and acted bravely, but she was afraid to get down the bus in the town because of the reason that she knew nothing about the town. She became afraid to see that crowded market. She knew no place there. She knew no one out there. So that is why she was afraid. So this is again an important question. Now we move on to the last question, last important question. Justify the title of the play, The Proposal. The whole play centers around the proposal which Lemur wishes to make to Natalia. The play opens with Lemur visiting his neighbor Chupkov to ask for his daughter's hand. Though Chupkov expresses his happiness at the proposal, Lemur wants to know what Natalia thinks about it. All the characters want this proposal to materialize for their own reasons. Lemur, who is at a critical age of 35, wants to live a regular life because of his health problems. Natalia, who is referred to as a lovesick cat by her father, is more than eager to be proposed to by someone. And even Chupkov earnestly wants his daughter to get married. So ये जो proposal है ये सबके लिए important है. All the characters. अपना अपना reason है सबका. So now, in an attempt to make a formal proposal to Natalia, both Lemur and Natalia get into an argument, and amidst their pride and bitterness for each other, the proposal takes a back seat. So दोनों बात करते करते एक आर्ग्यूमेंट में उनकी बातें कन्वर्ट हो जाती हैं और जो प्रपोजल है जिसके लिए वो वहां बैठे हैं वो भूल जाते हैं. So first the ox and meadows, the disputed land, and then the superiority of their dogs result in a hilarious and unsuccessful attempt of the realization of the proposal. Sorry. When Natalia comes to know about the real purpose of Lemur's visit, she becomes hysterical and demands her father to bring back Lemur so that he can propose to her. In the midst of this chaos, Chupkov, not missing this chance, facilitates the proposal. So Chupkov जब देखता है कि ये proposal जो है ये कहीं बीच में ही ना रह जाए, so फटाफट आके वो ये proposal जो है इसको complete कर देता है. Also the play, it is a satire on the society that believed marriage to be an arrangement to bring economic stability and enhance status. Chupkov is therefore ecstatic at Lemur's proposal for his daughter because of his high social status. Thus, the title is apt, as all the events of the play revolve around the proposal. So, जो proposal है, उसके आसपास सब कुछ हो रहा है. All of them, they want this proposal so that their own purposes they are materialized. और ये जो play है, it is also a satire on the mindset of the people during that time, because at that time they believe जो marriages हैं दोनों families के जो economic status को enhance जो है करनी चाहिए. So that is why everything it revolved around the marriage proposal. Therefore the title, it is apt and justified. So these are the important questions for your preparation. Hope that you'll be able to write any type of answer in your exams after you revise all this. So what you have to do, just subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up so that I can bring you more important questions for your preparations like this. Bye for now and happy preparation.